this is going to generate a lot of new revenue, right? This is going to be a game changer. I mean, Moose, you ran the numbers. We're talking about hundreds of millions, obviously within a year's time, a year plus, billions of dollars, right? And extra cash flows. The question becomes CapEx. Do we now say, do we now expect T-Mobile to increase CapEx and match the investment dollars we're seeing AT&T and Verizon put up? Max, talk to me a little bit about that. What are your expectations for the T-Mobile network, the CapEx, and the spend moving forward now with all this extra cash?
Well, yeah, they're going to keep building out the network. They're going to, fix and get really, really good in those weak spots where maybe their coverage is lacking or it's lacking behind the developments of Verizon, AT&T. But again, they are going to generate a lot of revenue from this. There's a lot of customers on those legacy plans, a lot of customers that have 5 paid lines and 10 free lines. They're going to make lots of money off those. I still don't think it's the right way to conduct that funding, but yeah, they're going to use it to their advantage.
Frank, what are your expectations for the network moving forward with respect to CapEx spending and competing more like Verizon and AT&T
The
with their
network
networks?
that you see in my area, Sneed, I predict that network experience will be seen across many more PEAs and smaller markets around the country, just because, like I said earlier, those military plans, first responder plans, and senior plans that had those lines aren't free anymore. So if you do the math, just say that there's 3.
The CapEx expectations and network build deployment with the extra cash flows.
If they're smart, they'll use this new money to invest back into the business. But I don't know if they're smart yet. They should have been doing that starting this year, but they chose share buybacks instead, and they chose dividend and all that kind of thing. So they're kind of putting the cart before the horse. I know they want to make sure that those investors stay locked in. I get it. I think a better way to lock in investors is to produce a better product. And they kicked the can down the road on doing that. Maybe it's because they think that they have the consumer duped enough for them to stay and accept the mess and until they can improve things a little bit more. But maybe this round, maybe they'll go ahead and start increasing capex. It's what they're going to have to do if they really want to compete long term with their prime competitors, because now they're not the cheapest game in the market anymore. So they can't go to market with the strategy that says, hey, we're the cheapest out there. That will be the MVNOs. That will be visible. That will be the prepaid space. So they don't have that as a notch in their belt anymore. They're going to have to try to find other ways to compete, which they've never really done before. They've always been a value company. They've always been able to come in and say, hey, we're cheaper than everybody else. So that would have, the customer perk up their ears a little bit because they come in with a really low price. That's not the case anymore. They're going to have to learn how to compete in other ways, and that means they're going to have a supreme network experience, which is going to take that increased capex. Maybe that's what they'll do with the money this time. If they do, though, they have to also come to the realization and come to grips with the fact that their competitors, the other two MNOs, have not necessarily stopped having strong, healthy capex budgets themselves. They're still investing in their own respective networks and continuing to push the needle and put pressure on T-Mobile to compete technologically. So they have a tough road to hoe going forward. We'll see what happens, Sneed. We'll see what happens.